For our case study, we're going to be talking about the Beverly Hills Cyber Club fire. Our group members are Lane Gamble, Nicholas Caldaras, Nicholas Perez, Joseph Rosedale, Jerry Williams. Here are some basics about the fire as background information. The Beverly Hills Cyber Club fire occurred on Memorial Day weekend on May 28, 1977 in Southgate, Kentucky. It is considered the third deadliest nightclub fire. The original Beverly Hills Cyber Club building had been expanded multiple times, and the club included multiple restaurant rooms, private party rooms, and two performance rooms, which often hosted nationally known entertainers. The fire killed 165 people, and more than 200 were injured. Approximately 3,000 patrons and 182 employees were at the club at the time of the fire. The club was operating beyond capacity on the night of the fire because the famous singer John Davidson was performing that night. Although the number of fire exits allowed only 600 people to safely occupy the cabaret room, approximately 900 to 1,300 people occupied the room alone at the time of the fire. The total number of occupants at the night of the fire was approximately 1,500 more than the fire code allowed. Faulty wiring was the main cause of the fire. In addition, there were no fire suppression and detection systems. Some of the exits were locked and not clearly marked. This is what is understood to have happened. A wedding reception in the club's zebra room had ended around 8:30 p.m., and some guests had complained that the room was too hot. At 8:56 p.m., two waitresses entered the zebra room and saw smoke. The fire department was called at 9:01 p.m. and arrived within 3 minutes. The fire spread quickly through the building, reaching the largest capacity room, the cabaret room, by 9:10 p.m. It is believed that the guests opened the door to the zebra room, causing the fire to spread rapidly from its point of origin. Because the building lacked audible fire alarms, many people were unaware that there was a fire. In addition, many of the exits were blocked by fire, limiting the amount of people who could safely escape. The fire exits were also inadequate. Full occupancy required 27.5 exits, and the club only had 17. Many of the exits were not marked or clearly identifiable. One of the reasons the fire was so devastating was the complex design of the structure. The club originally had a simple layout design. However, after years of renovations and additions, it acquired a design that was described as atypical. Hallways and rooms led to more complicated spaces instead of leading to exits or outside patios. The structure was made up entirely of wood, with extremely flammable tablecloths, excessive drapery that could easily catch fire, and no fire suppressor systems to combat the fire. In addition, they did not have a smoke detector or alarm system to alert anyone of an impending fire. This is a model of one of the rooms. This diagram reflects major violations of the fire code, including absence of firewalls, sprinkler suppression systems, fire alarms, exit signs, and highly flammable building materials such as hazardous wiring, combustible ceiling tiles, and combustible insulation materials near wiring. Other combustible materials included tapestries, foam padded furniture, carpeting, and wood framing. Additionally, partition walls between the zebra room and other adjoining rooms did not extend to the floor deck above. This continuous and connected open space above those areas led to an increased supply of oxygen that fueled the fire. The building was very poorly constructed in general. For example, there was no roof supports in any of the rooms, and the construction materials used acted as a fuel supply for the spread of the fire. One of the main reasons this fire was so devastating was that the occupancy was beyond capacity and the fact that there were an inadequate number of exits for the number of people occupying the club. The club was supposed to hold approximately 756 people. On the night in question, the number of people was over 3,000, creating a serious overcrowding problem. Out of the 27.5 fire exits that were required by Kentucky law, the club had just under 17.5. The inadequate number of fire exits was passed over during inspections, along with the failure to repair the numerous amount of faulty wiring that violated numerous fire codes. These fire hazards, along with many others, played a part in the terrible tragedy that was the Beverly Hills Supper Club fire that could have been avoided. In general, the construction of the building was incredibly flawed. For example, the building had no fire doors, causing the fire to spread faster because of the accumulation of oxygen in open spaces. In addition, there were many casualties because the roof collapsed prematurely. The roof was built with highly flammable products, had no common ceiling space, and inadequate roof support. When firefighters arrived to rescue the patrons, they were trapped in the maze of the buildings, and the roof eventually collapsed on them. This is a diagram of the Beverly Hills Supper Club. The fire originated in the red zone, also known as Zebra Room, and then spread down the hallway to the cabaret room, where there were 900 to 1,300 people. The lack of fire suppression systems and poor building construction led to rapid spread of the fire throughout the building. This is an alternate view of the building showing the Zebra Room where the fire originated. You can clearly see on this diagram that the number of exits were inadequate for the number of people in the building. This is a close-up view of the cabaret room where there was a high occupancy. You can see from the diagram that there were only two exits that lead outside. The other exits lead to a confusing maze of hallways, making it difficult to evacuate. The doors near the northwest exit of the cabaret room were camouflaged to look like a part of the wall, while other exits were not clearly marked. The major cause of death was smoke inhalation and carbon monoxide poisoning. Had the building had adequate fire exits, smoke detectors, fire alarms, and fire suppression systems, many people would have survived. After the fire, for the first time, both new and existing assembly occupancies with an occupant load exceeding 300 people were required to have an audible fire alarm system, complete with a voice-over message form of occupant notification, and were required to have a sprinkler fire suppression system. A new facility like the one involved in this fire would be required to have a sprinkler system installed. Aluminum electrical wiring was banned in the aftermath of the fire. Lastly, scenes are now preserved for investigation since the Supper Club fire. This is the end of our presentation. I would like to thank you for watching.